welcome and welcome back. So as you can see, we have another Rainbow High Winter Break review today. We are going to be doing Jade Hunter, and I already have a lot of thoughts about her. Definitely more mixed feelings in the box than I felt with Poppy. Also, side note, I do just want to say I am fully aware that this outfit would have been much better suited to Poppy's video. I don't know why I'm like this, but that aside, the actual doll here, I have just like a gripe with Jade in general, and I hope that I can like communicate this properly. I feel like the designers of Rainbow High had like a vision for her at the beginning, which was Billie Eilish, but now they don't know what to do, because I feel like they can't decide whether they want to do that more like looser, sportier, like gender ambiguous sort of look, or if they want a girly punk. And obviously, people can have different styles. Like, I look different literally all the time. No one has to dress in, like, a concrete style all the time. But that being said, that's people. With dolls, typically speaking, you're gonna see them have more of a consistent style. Obviously, again, like, it's not like that is a concrete rule. It doesn't have to be that way. I just think it's really weird because I feel like some of Jade's dolls feel like Jade, and some of them feel like a different green-themed character. I made that complaint when I made a video about why I didn't want to buy any of the cheer dolls. So, yeah, and I'm definitely seeing that here. I feel like her snowsuit in the middle section here, you can see, is kind of giving me more of that sporty vibe, but then this outfit is definitely more punk to me, or like alternative. I don't know what the specific subcultures always are, because there's a lot of them. But yeah, I feel like there's a few different things going on, so I am still really, really excited for her doll. I just wanted to kind of air that out because I think about it every time I see a Jade doll, and I feel like I can't be the only one who feels like she's kind of having an identity crisis. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dramatic, but anyway, this is the front of Jade's box. Was any of that important? Not really, but I did say it. Back of the box, same as Poppy's. I am, once again, very excited for her snowboard stand, so I'm going to go ahead and unbox her off screen, and we'll be right back face to face one more time so I can test out that to make sure she actually can stand on her snowboard, and then we'll get into the flat lay with all of the good details. So, I'll be right back, y'all. Okay, so I am here with moderately unfortunate news. I will show you guys closer when I have the flat lay going on, but the method for like holding her foot in is not the same as Poppy's skis. With Poppy's skis, you kind of just slid the boot in and it clicked into place, but this one has a strap that you need to basically buckle. And if I try to get her foot in, just like one foot at a time to keep life easy, the strap for this one, ooh, I'm struggling. You can see that I'm struggling, but that one will just barely go in. So her boot is strapped in on that one. However, as soon as I move her to like angle her other foot in, it comes undone. So you kind of have to do them both at once. And they are like at an angle. Let me just pop her out so I can show you. But they aren't parallel. Like, her feet aren't parallel. They are at an angle, whereas on the doll, her feet are parallel, and her joints don't rotate. Like, her knees can bend, but they can't rotate to the side to let her foot rotate very much. So there's like a tiny bit of wiggle room, but it's not a lot, and her hips don't rotate outwards either. So because of that, it's really, really, really hard to get her feet into this not parallel position. And like I said, you have to do it both at the same time. Otherwise, when you like twist her to get her second foot in, it just pops out. So, getting her like as close as I can get her. She's standing up, like I don't have it buckled. She is standing. So it does technically work. But I physically cannot get with both feet in here, like if both feet are in their slots, I cannot get, I'm trying them both just to make sure I'm not crazy, I can't get either one to buckle. I'm going to try to see how far away that is still from where it needs to be. I hope that shows up. But it like, the band, like the top band doesn't have enough stretch to where I feel comfortable doing it. She did almost fall. Like, she can balance in it without the straps fully on. It's just, like, a little unsteady. So, again, it does technically work, but I don't want to risk ripping the band because I like it for display purposes. I don't want to risk ripping it to see if I can force it to be, like, stretchy enough to get onto the little peg to hook her in. It is possible that you would be able to. So I'm not going to say it's fully impossible, but I am going to say it is very, very difficult. Poppy was so easy to get into her skis, and Jade is a lot harder, for me, impossible to get into her snowboard properly. I do think that the biggest problem is just that she has to have her feet not be parallel, but the way that the doll is designed, her feet have to be parallel. So that doesn't really make sense. Like, even now, she's not quite sitting in there exactly the way that she should. So, I was probably going to put her in her other shoes and just display her on the stand anyway. Like I said, that's why I don't want to mess up the strap, because I want to just be able to display the snowboard. But I do think that that is really disappointing because I was so excited with Poppy's that the skis actually functioned as a stand. And then obviously for kids who are playing with it, that's also incredible. And I just think that the snowboard, at least with Jade, at least with mine, doesn't even come close to living up to the standard that Poppy set with her skis. So, snowboard stand, in short, does technically work. However, definitely not a great design. So, not starting off on a great note, but hopefully things will get better. I'm going to go ahead and set everything out for you, and we'll take another look. Okay, so this is the entirety of Jade Hunter Winter Break Edition, all laid out for you guys. Just like Poppy, she has her, in her case, green stand, her brush, and then her two hangers with the new molds to them. And then just showing you guys a little bit up closer what I was talking about with the snowboard. So this strap comes off, her foot is supposed to go in here, and then there's like a hole in the strap there that is supposed to go on this peg. And I'm not gonna lie, it's like kind of tricky, without leverage at least, when I'm doing this in the air, to get on even without a shoe in there. There we go. But yeah, so just once her shoe is in there, there's not enough stretch to it for me to easily get that on. So yeah, kind of disappointing because honestly, this board looks really cool. I love the design printed on it, how shiny it is. On the bottom, I always flip it upside down, but we've got rainbow written across. The only thing I will say design-wise is that it is kind of disappointing to me that the like straps on here aren't painted in more detail, because I feel like all of Rainbow High's shoes and everything are usually very detailed, so it's kind of weird to me that this is just like one piece of molded green plastic. But other than that, other than like that lack of detail in the one case, I do think it looks really nice. So sad that it doesn't function the way I want it to, but we're going to move on from that. I am going to start with this jacket here. Since she was wearing it, I just took it off so we can take a closer look at all of her things. So this is Jade's first jacket. Kind of a puffer coat moment. Definitely very soft, very puffy. We have these kind of faux drawstrings in the middle. Lots of different color blocking that I love. Pockets with flaps. All the kind of typical stuff. We have Rainbow High since 2020 written on the side of this arm, and then also some Japanese text for some reason. And then Team Sparkle established 2020 Rainbow High, and again, more Japanese text. I don't know what it actually says. I'm hoping that it just says like Rainbow High and it's actually translated correctly, but I know that very frequently in American fashion with like Chinese and Japanese and Korean, if it's just on a shirt or something for style purposes, it's not always translated properly. So if any of you guys know what that says in the comments below, let me know. On the back, kind of more of the same, Rainbow High with the Japanese text. This, though, is interesting. This is like a full hood, whereas usually Rainbow High hoods have like a hole in the middle so you could put their hair through. This is like an actual full hood. Definitely not big enough to fit her head, but I thought that that was kind of an interesting detail. So, I don't know. But overall, I do think that this is actually a really nice quality piece of clothing. Zippers and everything. It even has on this side like the zipper guard. Really happy with this one. Then Jade was also wearing this hat in box. It is pretty similar to the hat that her first wave came with, just like a beanie, except it does have the Sparkle logo on it, a little bit more striping to it, so there's color detail, and then of course a black pom-pom on top. But overall pretty basic. You can like unfold the front, but not the back, so it does kind of have to stay like this. But yeah, I mean, stretchy, knitted, feels quite nice. Then onto her second outfit. So this jacket, wow. I'm in love with this. I think it looks so, so good. So we've got like the faux leather with the kind of like crackle to it. Not so much a like shiny sort of faux leather, but more genuine almost. Functioning pockets here. There's a slightly different texture to the leather on the cap of the shoulder that I think looks really, really nice. She's got all of this detail going around here. We've got little like faux buckles around the neck piece. The zipper as per usual. I just feel like this looks so good. And then the inside, the fur is on like the lining, but the inside doesn't look weird to me. I will say it looks closer on the inside to like a denim than the faux leather, but it doesn't look unfinished in my personal opinion. And we've got rainbow written on it. It is very obviously a different sort of faux fur than we've seen on some other dolls, so it's not as soft, but it is definitely a faux fur that I have like actually seen on real coats. Something about this piece just feels so real to me. I can't get enough of it. I think that this looks and feels absolutely fantastic. So very, very happy with both of her jackets actually. Then her shirt, pretty basic. I do like this one more than the other shirts that she's come with. I think that the crop top, I'm just a crop top fan, so I'm immediately more drawn to a crop top than a full-length t-shirt anyway. But I do like this little, like, ghosty sort of smiley face. I think that the drip pattern is really cool. It does feel, like, a little edgy, a little alternative, which, again, not sure if that's now what they're going for Jade, but I like it personally, so I can't really complain. So, for a white t-shirt, basically, I like this one. The skirt I have less high opinions of. It does look really cool. I will give it that. It looks cool. Like, the print is really nice. I think that the idea of the leather kind of borders with these slits and little studs on it is really awesome. But the inside is just this fabric, just the, like, plaid fabric. There's no leather lining on the inside. So when it does flip up a little bit like that, because there's slits in the front, you do see some of that plaid fabric peeking through. I think it's going to be worse once it's on the doll. And it also is just so thin. Like, that is paper thin fabric. So when you compare it to, like, this, it just doesn't feel like it even is coming in the same set. It literally feels like this is from a lower quality doll line. Like, again, it looks nice, just, like, looking at it like this. But compared to everything else that this set comes with, that Jade Hunter comes with, I'm really, really disappointed in the skirt. I feel like it could have been better. I know that Rainbow High can do really good fashions, so that one kind of hurt me. But back to the good stuff. Her second set of shoes. I love these. We once again have the triple bladed ice skates, which I guess is just gonna be a thing that I'm eternally confused about, but aside from that, I love that she has these straight across lacing to her boots. It's just something like a little bit different. I think it is very striking, and it sets the design apart a little bit from how I feel like doll boots are usually done with the normal crisscross. I just think that looks really cool. And then also this panel in the back. First of all, paint job is lovely. Looks really, really nice, but it almost reminds me of like the sock boots, except it's just the back panel. I don't know. I think these look really, really cool. Like, I would buy these boots. Of course, I would buy most black boots, but I don't know. There's just something about these that I think is really, really awesome, and I think the design is really fun. So another win on the shoes. Then as far as Jade herself. So this iteration of Jade comes with really, really straight hair as opposed to her first version that had kind of curled hair. The front pieces are gelled, which is just so irritating to me. I know that I'm being picky right now, so I'm sorry, I guess. But she has straight hair. Like, it's not styled at all. It literally is rooted and put in the box. I don't understand why they had to put gel in the front pieces. Like, now I have to wash her, which I'll do, obviously, happily, but I could have been saved a wash job, and this really didn't do her any favors in box. Like, it just made it look stiff. Jade does, once again, have the very, very shiny face. I think it's coming up just barely on camera, but she has these little, like, white stars in her makeup. They kind of feel frosted, if you will. Like, they kind of remind me of snowflakes, and I think it's really, really cute. Then, coming down to her clothes. So she comes with this long sleeve sort of turtleneck. It is a crop top. You can see the edge here. Really like the design. I think that I could have done without the word rainbow written all over it. Rainbow is written on literally everything in this doll line. And sometimes it's cute, but sometimes it's a little much. Like I said, I could have done without it, but I don't think it's too terribly distracting in this case. I do like that we have a lot of black here for her. If we're going with a slightly edgier theme for Jade, I think that this looks really, really good. The snow suit? Snow overalls? I don't know exactly what the proper term for this would be, but I do think that it looks really, really cool. We've got the same sort of material that her puffer coat is made out of, but minus the puff, obviously. Sparkle written on her pockets here. They are functioning pockets. We've got belt loops, stitches everywhere. I don't know what this little loop would ever hook onto, but we have it. She does have... Focus for me. Don't focus on her eyes. Come on. There we go. A little buckle to her suspenders there, which I think is really cute. And then we've got function, guys. We have cargo sort of pants on the bottom. More buckles, pockets. There's like a zipper here, which... yeah, so it just ends in an actual zipper, kind of by her foot there. The bottom is not finished super well. Could be worse. Like, it definitely... there's an attempt made at finishing it, but I think that that looks a little sloppy. Quickly hide that away under her boot. But yeah, I mean, I think solid piece of clothing. It does move very well with her. Once again, her leg bends so far. I love that, but it is nice that the pants can move with her. It's not, like, restricting her movement at all. So that's really cool. They are functional. They would, you know, in theory, in a real-world situation, be functional for using a snowboard, so that's really cool. Then her boots. So I actually really, really like these boots. And if you guys have watched my channel before, you know why I like these boots, and that's because they have translucent bottoms. The soles are like this really pretty glitter shift translucent material that I can't get enough of. I want like her whole boot to be made out of this. It's just so pretty. Unfortunately, we only got the soles, but I'll take what I can get. Basic boot, though, just more black. Paint job is quite nice, though. I think that this one, the printing is pretty solid. However, you might have caught in shot something that is not so solid and something that I'm actually pretty flabbergasted and upset about. Look at her hand. Look at all of the black marks on her arm. I haven't taken this off yet, so I don't know how far up it goes. But look at that. That's really bad. Like, that's really bad. And it's on her other hand, too. Not quite as bad as the... ooh. Still not quite as bad as the other one. And I think that acetone will take it off.
Editor's note, acetone did not, in fact, take it off.
Like, it's not something that I'm afraid is permanent.
It is absolutely permanent.
But that's pretty bad. There's no way to sugarcoat that. Like, that is definitely a quality control issue. Not super thrilled with that. So, sad note to end on. Overall, I feel like there's a lot of hits and misses in Jade's design for her winter break iteration. Like, I love the jackets. I love her shoes. But I think that the quality control, not good on her hands especially. That is really, really bad. The skirt's pretty low quality. And then, like I said, with this, maybe you could stretch it enough to make it function, but I I'm afraid to. It's pushing it. I would be afraid to try it. So it's like, I was so excited about Poppy's. If you guys watched that video for Poppy's winter break, I loved that one. I thought that doll was so well executed, and I just feel like Jade is not hitting the same mark.
I really thought that I had seen everything good and bad that Jade had to offer, but actually it only got worse after I took her clothes off to wash her hair, because I found out that her head and her body are drastically different skin tones. It's showing up pretty well in this picture, but I promise you it's even worse in real life. Not so bad when she has clothing on, but when she doesn't, it is very noticeable. And to add to everything else, after I finished washing her hair, I found this absolutely abysmal rooting job on Jade's hair. So I guess this was just kind of masked by how her hair was styled in box. But if you guys know anything about how doll hair usually looks, you know that at the part where the hair kind of splits, it's typically rooted thicker so that the part looks more natural and more realistic and you don't see the scalp through it. Well, they did that on half of Jade's head, but the other half, they didn't even do like normal rooting, it feels like to me. They absolutely shortchanged her. So she just has an enormous bald spot towards the front of her head where her part is. And it's like, yeah, her hat covers it up if you put her hat on her, but like, I'm not used to this. I just feel like this is absolutely not the quality that I've come to expect from Rainbow High, and I'm pretty upset.
Let me know down in the comments how you guys are feeling about this, if you have seen any similar issues, if you guys have bought her, or if you have issues with any of the other dolls, because she's the second one that I've gotten and the only other one that I intend to get. So my Poppy was great, my Jade not so much. Are you guys having problems with any of the other dolls? I don't know. Let me know down below. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be. And I'll catch you guys next week in the next video. Bye, y'all.